Herd Hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but just look at the data on the Minnesota Vikings. They're going through a rough spot, but they have the fewest giveaways in the league and the fewest big plays allowed this year. Okay, this is still a really good defense. They've allowed the lowest opponent passer rating in blitz situations. They're in a rough spot. I stayed away from them this week in my Blazing Five. But there are stats that tell you when they get their offensive line settled, they're still an elite team. Number 10.
Number 9.
Listen, Denver's going to struggle playing from behind. But they also play in a really good division. You could put this team in other divisions, and they could be vying for first place. They are still number 1 in opponent yards per play. Okay, what does that mean? They're the toughest team in the league to get yards on. That is a top 10 team in the NFL.
Number 8.
Washington's the league's most underrated team. You know, I'm starting to watch Kirk Cousins, and listen, only 9% of their drives this year have resulted in 3 and out. That's better than New England. That's the best in the league. Yards per play, they're second. This offense under Kirk Cousins back-to-back years is really, really productive. They feel like a borderline playoff team to me. Redskins 8.
Number 7.
Kansas City's dull, and they're not explosive, but they're winning. They've won 17 of their last 20 games, and their losses, 2 of them were at New England and at Pittsburgh. They continue to win despite all sorts of injury problems. Macklin, Ware, Charles, Alex Smith, all hurt. Kansas City, number 7.
Number 6.
Atlanta is the over-the-top team. You play Atlanta, you're going to be in for a shootout. Okay, Matt Ryan leads the NFL. Passing yards, touchdowns. They're number 1 in yards per play. Kind of the opposite of Denver. They're really the opposite of Denver, but they're fun to watch. And listen, they're going to be in every game they play. Don't forget, they went to Oakland and beat the Raiders.
Number 5.
This team I like more than everybody else. I like Carolina. Okay, I know this. Physically, they can match up with anybody. And remember, Cam has not had a turnover in the last 2 games. They've won both. In Cam's career, when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's won almost 80% of his games. And they're also second in the NFL at forcing 3-and-out drives. I love their front 7 defensively. I told you last week, and I believe this to be true, Carolina is the one team in the league that this point forward is going to change the perception of what you think about them. Carolina 5.
Number 4.
These teams, I think, can win the Super Bowl, and right now the Raiders are one of them. Okay, it's crazy, right? But they're the first team to score over 30 points against Denver since 2015. They are number 2 in the NFL in over-the-top plays. I think they have a very, very elite offensive line. They may have the deepest receiving core in the NFL and an exciting Derek Carr at quarterback who looks like a young Aaron Rodgers. I've got the Raiders at 4.
Number 3.
Seattle can be ugly, but again, Russell Wilson not at full strength. They allow only 16 points a game. That's 3rd best in the league. They're number 3 in sacks. It's a team. Jimmy Graham was remarkable last night. It is a team that's got its flaws. But if you're talking about playmakers, they've got them. And when Russell Wilson, with an excellent veteran coach, Pete Carroll, gets healthy, I think they're a top 3 team in the league.
Number 2.
Dallas Cowboys. Now, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL this year based on games played through Week 9. But they're number 1 in rushing, and they're number 1 in time and possession. And they have the best unit in the NFL. That offensive line, of all the units, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, running back, skill play, that offensive line's the best in the league. It's the best unit, period, in the league. And anybody connected to it is elite. They are, on 4th down this year, 7 for 7. That's some sort of record, I'm sure. I don't have the guy to look it up, but that's got to be a record. They're literally perfect, 7 for 7 on 4th down.
Number 1.
The New England Patriots, 14-8 off buys. Here they come off a bye. In November, last 17 games, they're 14-3. Brady's having a remarkable year. They've made some interesting defensive moves, but I like them on the back end of their defense. I like their offensive line. I think they have the second best receiving core in the league to Oakland. And I think New England's the best coach, best quarterback combination in the National Football League. They're number one.